Hello, everyone, and welcome to Worldwide Entertainment TV, where powerful stories meet purpose and creativity. I'm your host, Miss Goldi to you, and today we are shining the spotlight on a woman who is not changing the film industry, but opening doors for the next generation of storytellers. Our guest is an accomplished filmmaker, visionary leader, and the co-founder and president of American Cinema, an organization dedicated to empowering filmmakers and creating opportunities for diverse voices to be seen and heard. She has dedicated her career to helping creators turn their ideas into impactful films while proving that passion, persistence, and purpose can truly reshape an industry. Today, we're talking about breaking barriers, building legacy, and inspiring women and upcoming filmmakers everywhere to step boldly into their dreams. Please help me welcome filmmaker, innovator, and industry trailblazer, Chevonne O'Shaughnessy.
Hi,
Hello.
Sean. It's so great to be here. I'm very excited to be here. So exciting.
And we're so glad to have you. I actually got a chance to watch the film with Ja Rule, but we're gonna get into that. And so when they said we were gonna be interviewing you today, I'm like, wait, wow, I watched that movie. It was really good and it was surprising, especially coming from a rapper like that. I feel like you really got a soft side of him, and that was amazing to see. Amazing. So, Siobhan, every powerful story has a beginning. What was the moment you realized filmmaking wasn't just a passion, but your purpose?
It started many years ago. It started literally. I was living in Rome. I thought my life was going to be in Rome. I had married an Italian. I had my daughter in Italy. I spoke Italian, and my father was nice enough. He bought me an apartment in Rome. I was young. I was only 25 years old at the time, and I had finished college, and I got this telephone telegram that said, "No more monies." And at that time, my dad was giving back in the '80s, was giving me $8,000 net a month, plus
Wow.
everything it's paid for. So I was like, "Oh my gosh." So I went out to my terrace, and I think at my apartment in Rome, and I cried and cried for about an hour, and then I was like, "Okay, Siobhan, we gotta figure some things out. This crying thing is not gonna cannot get us anywhere." So I sat there and I said, "How much money as a woman can I make in Italy versus the United States?" Because I just
Mhm.
got my degree in international business. So I sat there and I go, Italy, US. US ran out. So I remember telling my Italian husband at the time, sell the apartment, sell the cars. I'm going to go back home to my mom and I'll go get a job in the United States. I have a degree
Mhm.
at the American University in Rome in international business. So I'll find something import export.
Right.
So I'm sitting at the table at my mother's house feeling like I had gone 3 steps backwards because I was sleeping in my old room, and I'm writing my resume back in the 89, and I'm like, "I did this, I did the other," and my mother comes up to me, she goes, "Sean, guess what?" And I'm like, "What, Mom?" "Universal Studios is opening up here in Orlando." And I'm like,
Wow.
"Cares, Mom? Who cares? SeaWorld, Circus World, Disney World, every single park in the world is already here. Okay, another park is here." And I had worked at Disney World when I was 16. And I said, "We're not talking parks, Mom. Your daughter has a degree in international business. I'm going to do import, export." So I was trying to go to the Chamber of Commerce and I was trying to get meetings with all the people that were doing export, import. Nothing, Shanta, nothing. 3 months, nothing. Finally, the convention center called up and said, "Siobhan, would you like, there's a job position. Why don't you come apply?" So I did.
Mhm.
Well, I grew up in Orlando and the freeways in Orlando are high. So I'm
Mhm.
driving down the freeway in Orlando and I get off on the wrong exit. And as I'm coming down off the freeway, I see Universal Studios under construction.
Wow.
And I don't know if you call it an angel or God's voice, but a God voice said, "Go in, go in." And I'm like, "Go in." So I drive up to the gate. A poor man is sitting in his suit in August, and I'm asking where the employment agency is. And he tells me where it is. And this is before MapQuest, before any of these directions that we have now. And he tells me like
Mhm.
3 miles, but 3 miles in swampland can seem like a long time. So I'm
Right.
driving the miles and going around. And I'm thinking, I must be lost. I don't know where I'm at because the just keep going. And then all of a sudden, I see this clearing of land and three trailer parks, and it said employment agency. So I go in, I go park the car. I'm fighting with myself as I get out. Shum, you don't have time to do this. We got to go to the job. What are we doing here? What are we doing? And I literally felt two hands on my back pushing me to go forward. And I went into the employment
Amazing.
agency and I said, I'd like to apply for a job. And the guy goes, well, what would you like to apply for? And I look at him and go, I don't know. I don't even know why I'm here. It's like, he kind of looks strange and he goes, well, why don't you tell me about yourself? Well, that's Shanta. I become the peacock. My name is Chevonne O'Shaughnessy. I just came back from Rome. I have an international business degree from the American University in Rome. I speak Spanish, I speak Italian, and I speak English. And he goes, you speak Italian? I said, yes, I've been living in Italy for 5 years. He goes, well, one of our independent producers went to a market in Italy and the Italians totally took him. Maybe you should go apply there.
Mhm.
I applied. 500 other people applied. And 2 weeks later, I was sitting at the Cannes Film Festival. And the last Cannes Film Festival was 37 years. And I've only done this. And I just feel like it was something was meant to be. And then when I got into
Yes.
inspiration, I just felt that was the right direction was supposed to be. I mean, everything I feel like I'm doing is bigger than me. It's not me.
Right.
It's something telling me that this is the direction I'm supposed to be doing it.
Oh, you're giving me chills right now. I'm trying to stop myself from crying. So, and it's just a bigger story within myself and how I got here. So I totally get what you're saying. And when you just end up somewhere and you don't know how you got there, and it was like it's divine, like your steps was ordered and the doors were open and people were already waiting on you.
Exactly.
So I know the feeling. So
And
if young,
it was bigger than I could have ever imagined. I mean, I wanted
then you
import
could ever
export,
imagine.
traveling the world. I didn't even know I didn't know film was a product or how to sell it. You know, it was just
Right.
like it was a new widget. It was a new widget to sell.
I love it. If young Chevonne could see you now, co-founder, president, and industry leader, what do you think she'd say?
I don't think she would believe it. I don't think she'd believe it. I mean, I remember when I first started, it was so big. But the one thing that got was I was lucky more than anything was I got in with a company that was so great. I stayed with them for 35 years. We did the markets, but we got to hear what the customers were looking for.
Mhm.
So it wasn't us just sitting back at our desk, which I feel, I mean, for writers, it was really hearing what our customers wanting and then making it, or hearing what the market was lacking and then creating that. And that is what has kept me in the business for as long as I have, I think.
And that was a great answer because that was actually going into my next question. What inspired you to help create American cinema, and what gap in the industry were you determined to fill?
Well, I started the company 2000, but we had already done 10, almost 9 years at PM Entertainment. So we had already done one movie a month. The market was still needing independent product. First, it was the video. You know, remember the mom and pop shops, and they needed product. Then video started getting conglomerating and got to Blockbuster. Then it became the television. All these new television channels came about. And we were lucky or smart enough to pivot and get into the television realm. And then it was finding the kind of content. that they were needing. Now, I remember when I went to my first meeting at Hallmark, I had done 75 films, produced them, sold them, and thinking I'm going into Hallmark. And each TV program has a formula of how they do their films. So I had
Uh-huh.
looked at the formula, I had a script, and I go in, Shanta, I go into them and I say, look, I got this script and I want to make this. And they look at me, okay, Chevonne, what are you bringing me? I'm bringing you the script. I'm bringing you 75 films that I've done. I know how to do this. No, 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 Chevonne. There's a lot of people like you. What are you bringing me? So I'm thinking, like, oh my gosh, um, I'm bringing you a script. And she goes, no, no, either you're bringing me a big cast or you're bringing me something, new subscribers or new people to watch my show. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I literally walked out of that meeting going, I didn't have anything. So then I
Right.
said to myself, I don't have, I don't have names. So I started looking at books. And I found this series, a publisher called Guidepost that at that time used to do a newsletter out to 6 million people.
Mhm.
And they were the books were religious, but we made the films more mainstream. So we were bookstore adjacent. We had a little bit of faith in it, but not so much. So then we did that, and I went back. It was so popular. I was like, I got scripts, I got 6 million people, I got this and the other, and they still said no to me. But Up TV gave me my first chance. So I get into Up TV.
Amazing.
We made the first movie and we're trying to do the marketing and we go up to the owners of the TV and we say, you know what? We've done a lot of social media on this. We went to the mom bloggers, we went to the Christian bookstores, we were going everywhere. We think we're going to have 2 million views on this movie. And the owners of Up TV start laughing. They go, Siobhan, Siobhan. Let me tell you, our highest rated movie to date has been Passion of the Christ on Easter. And that has only made 700,000 views. Do you
Wow.
think you're going to beat Jesus? No,
Wow, I
no.
didn't know that.
I said, no, no, I wouldn't say that. Our movie aired. We had 7 repeats. We did 4.7 million views. Mhm. So we did beat Jesus.
Wow. I could imagine how those other people that kept saying no felt.
Yeah. But
Oh,
it's
that's
also being
amazing.
creative and doing something different. I mean, TV channels really don't care who you are. So all of a sudden, when I finished the movie, they said to me, Siobhan, we've decided we don't want to be at the 50-year-old ones. We want to be hitting the 25 to 45-year-old customers. And I'm looking going, but your channel is 50 and above. How can you be going to the 25 to 45? Yeah, well, the advertisers think that if you're 50 and above, you've already got your toothpaste, you already got your detergent. And if we can get you 25, then we'll carry you to our 50. I'm like, okay, okay, but your channel is not that, it's 50 and above.
Right.
So I had to sit there and think, how could I create that 25 to 45-year-old person? And I was thinking to myself, my movie was Love Finds You in Sugar Creek. So I said, oh, dating sites. And at that time, 10 years ago, you could put skins around the websites. They don't do that now.
Mhm.
But it was so every dating site, Christian Mingle, JDate, Match.com, I had skins. Love Finds You
Wow.
in Sugar Creek, Love Finds You in Charm. And I hit 1.25, 1,250,000 people of that.
That's amazing because it was hard to get those numbers back then, and
Yeah,
it's still hard to get those numbers now. The
still hard.
film industry hasn't always been easy for women. What challenges did you face early on, and how did you turn obstacles into opportunities?
Whew. Um, I was always I can say in the distribution part, there was a lot of countries like Korea, Japan, the Far East that would not even talk to me, would not even discuss. They say, no, 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 no. We prefer to deal with a man, not a woman.
Wow.
And my partner at that time even didn't care about that. He made me sit. And he said, "You're dealing with both of us. You're not dealing just with me." So he forced that from the beginning, um,
Hmm.
which was great. At the beginning, I was thinking to him when I was young, I was like, "Why are you doing this? I'm just starting. I don't care." But no, he
Right.
made from the beginning that they had to deal with both of us. So we were at equal level, both of us, which made it great. Um, there's a lot, of when we did male-oriented movies, it had to
Hmm.
be mainly men. Luckily, when I started the female and the inspirational type movies, there's a lot more women in there, and my stories are for females, so I love them. I love them. I love my movies, and it's fun. I
I
can watch
can
'em.
imagine.
Yeah. So
Because
I
as
haven't
women,
had.
we're great storytellers. Not that men are
Yes,
not, but we put more compassion into it and a lot of reality from our own experiences.
experiences.
And me as a new filmmaker, um, I try to be that filmmaker and director that lets the cast have a great time. Like, I hear a lot about mean directors, the filmmakers are so mean, and everything I heard bad about it, I try not to do that, but in the same token, being a filmmaker, I can understand they don't have great personalities, money is on the table, and the clock is ticking, and they just don't care. That's what they care about.
It was funny
What
because
does lead Go
my
ahead.
partner used to do a lot of the producing, and it's a generational thing too. I think of the generational was that everybody screams, "You have to pay attention to us. You have to listen." Blah blah blah. Keep everybody in fear. So when I did one of my first movies, I did the director was female. I was a female. The second producer was a female. And one of the actors was talking on the phone in front of us, and he didn't know we were behind him. And he's calling his friend. He goes, "You won't believe this is the first time I've been on a set where there's a female director, the producer's female, and the second producer female." He goes, "It's the strangest thing. And you want to know what? It's so quiet. Nobody's screaming.
No chaos, we got
No
this.
chaos, no screaming, no hollering."
I love that. What does leadership look like as a woman in a space traditionally dominated by men?
I think if you get a great group of women, I think us women can do it so much better. I think we listen better. I think I no, we listen really. We listen to one another. We try to and the voices don't have to be screaming or threatening. We can do this, and I've done 100 movies, so I think we can do this.
And that is amazing. How can women filmmakers advocate for themselves without feeling like they have to shrink or apologize for their vision?
Well, I think the one thing that helps women if we start is knowledge. If you really know your channel, if you really know where it's going, and if you really know the formula of what that channel wants, then you can stand on what you know. I think sometimes when we don't know, and then we start talking like we do, just each platform, Hallmark, UpTV, even Amazon, something happens by page 15, something happens by page 30, and each one will be different. An action movie has a formula. For men, it's
Mhm.
every 7 minutes. For us, it's every 10 minutes. So it's an easy formula to look, but if you as a woman know it, then you should be able to stand tall.
All right. What's one myth about filmmaking that you wish new creators would stop believing immediately?
I think that the biggest thing I would think is that even if they have like a huge name, or I got Tom Cruise, or I got this, is going to make millions of dollars. It doesn't. The thing starts out with a script. If you got a good script, you're going to sell a good movie. If you don't have a good script, you're not going to sell. I mean, yes,
I
following on
like
what you
that.
need, but make sure you before you start anything, have a good script. But also, if I'm talking to new people, I would also have anybody who's starting a new film talk to a distributor. Talk to a
Mhm.
distributor. That's me. It can be a lot of other people, but just talk to see what is needed in the market right now. Even if your dream
Mhm.
a year later, because things are cyclical, they all come back and forth. But it w get your foot in the door. Know what's needed now, and it'll be easier.
Okay, that's definitely good advice for me as well, because you got to know what they want to buy before you
Yeah.
just start shopping anything around. For someone with just a phone, a story, and determination, where should they start today?
Well, the first thing, if anything's financing. So if you're gonna do something, the second thing I would recommend is after the story is find out where you can get an incentive. Where's the best place for the incentive? What is the budget that you can control? I've shot in many countries. I've shot in South Africa. I've shot in Spain. I've shot in Turkey. I've shot
Amazing.
in Romania, um, Canada. I don't recommend Canada, but that's me. But in the United States, I've shot in Detroit. I've shot in Kentucky. I've shot in Ohio. So wherever the best incentive for what your storyline is about, try to at least get the incentive so that it's between 30 cents on a dollar to 40 cents on a dollar that you're not having to recover. The states will give it to
Right.
you. So have that as your
Okay.
first. Yeah. So at least whatever your budget is, you're already covered on certain parts.
I love that. What separates filmmakers who succeed from those who give up too soon?
Sometimes it's timing. Timing. Maybe your film was not the time right now, or maybe your script wasn't the right way it is. Sometimes you just have to step away from a script and then come back to it where you'll see it and have better eyes on it and seeing what's
Mhm,
really needed. Sometime, or maybe even just another eyes on it to say, is this what we need? For example, right now, I think what's needed is very good, clean content. And
mhm.
just have to put in a scene where they're praying at a table, holding hands or having something inspirational is giving your film a little bit of a boost up. Sorry, boost up.
Okay. You're definitely supplying us with very knowledgeable information, especially for all my upcoming
Welcome.
filmmakers. How important is community and collaboration in building a lasting film career?
Um, I've always joined women in film, so that has always helped. I think community of who we are as a group is always the best thing. And a mentor. Having a mentor that can help you, guide you, that they've already done it, so they can help you skip some of the shortfalls that we have had. But the market is
Right.
different right now. The market, I mean, when I started, I could do my pre-sales in the foreign market and get most of my money.
Mm-hmm.
Now the people aren't doing pre-sales. Europeans are not buying from us because of the political situation. The Far East don't buy from us already. So you have to make sure that most of your money is coming from the United States, Canada, and Latin America, because those are the only places that really have most of the money and will deal with us right now. I mean, it's a
Oh,
political
wow.
situation. Even South Africa, where I made a whole bunch of films and they had a great incentive, they're now doing everything in Zulu, Xhosa, and to their foreign languages. They're not doing English that much.
And you would never think that what's going on in the country that you live in could have an impact on the industry that you're in. I never
Yeah.
even thought about that with
Oh, it's
what
horrible right now.
everything that's going on.
They're not touching our films. They're making their own or they're dealing within themselves. Like Europeans will deal with the German, they'll deal with Italian, they do Spanish, but they're not dealing with Americans.
Wow. That is a very,
Very
very
sad.
interesting. I'm definitely gonna look more into that. What skills do upcoming filmmakers often overlook that are actually essential for success?
I'll tell them the same thing that Hallmark said to me. What are you bringing to me? So either have some kind of following, try something that they can have that you know how to reach those people, that you
Mhm.
know who your customers are and that you can get to them. I mean, I just went to
Okay.
NRB and I know NRB was a great place for me and they love the series. So I now know a lot of those people are going to be watching my series that I just finished. But at the same time, I know how to reach them. I know how the social medias, I know how the blog mom bloggers are. I know to get people to go to it.
What are some of the film titles that you have done and some of the most interesting people you have worked with?
Ooh, that's a hard one. That's something. Um, I would say the cast that I have now in my series, I have such a strong woman, and it was amazing. We had the the main two leads is the woman, our husband and wife, that are part of it, and we had their two children that were not on in the series, but they were there on set, and they got to be part of
Mhm.
it. Then we had a mother and daughter team, and they were great. And then we had the director, and her husband is the DP. So it was a really family kind of thing
I
of all
love
of us
that.
together. And we had like 9
Yes.
kids. They were just around because it was the summertime. So they all learned how to shh, quiet on set. And they had a great time.
That's amazing when work can feel, like not like work.
Right. Exactly.
That's the
And we
best
did
thing I like
12-hour
about
days.
this industry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we did
it can be
12-hour days.
fun when
It can
things
be
are
fun.
going correctly.
Yeah.
People often focus on creativity, but filmmaking is also business. What business lessons change your career the most?
Learning how to pivot. Learning how to pivot. You know, the studios and the big companies, they're like a big ship. It takes them a while to move that ship to the other direction. If you're an independent, you move fast. Um, for example, I went down to South Africa. Knew that black content on Tubi was doing really good. So I went down, called my friend, and we made like a royal princess. We had like a story called a royal surprise, which is a girl, she was dating a South African from here. He invites her home and we find out he's a prince. And of course, the
Wow.
queen doesn't want an American daughter-in-law. So she had her own person for him. So it's the typical story, but it was very cute. And we did it in South Africa. When I first came back to the United States with the title, all the channels in the United States were saying, oh, we don't like South African accents. No, 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 Chevonne, you're not going to sell this. We don't like South African accents. But then when BET saw it, they said, oh, they almost sound like royalty. So, okay, we'll take it.
And it's kinda and that's amazing because I noticed that they do have a lot of TV shows now and a lot of content coming from that part of the globe.
Yeah.
It's a
I
lot
have a
now.
little series from Mnet. Like we have a safari guy, like a telenovela, and it's not doing well. But once we started putting the guys' voices as American, they started doing better. So we did have to dub the voices into American English.
And that's a part of that pivoting, right?
Yeah. It's learning how to where can I get it to go?
Yes. What should independent filmmakers understand about funding and sustainability early on?
That's what I'm saying is just learning which state to go to. Um, bringing your budgets down. And the other thing is that's happening now is you're being paid out in 2 to 3 years. None of the channels are giving you the full amount right away like they used to. Everybody's doing these little quarterly payments. So you're going to have to pay interest reserve. You're going to have to pay it before you get the full bulk of the money out. So it's getting in more clever to have less locations, try to combine your locations, have less actor. Try to make it at a budget that you can at least recover your first monies or go in the black at least by the first year. And then the other
Okay.
monies will come afterwards.
Trust me, I'm taking a lot of notes here. What keeps you motivated during difficult productions or industry setbacks?
Well, I'll tell you one of my worst stories that happened to me when I was in the series right now, which I did 8 hours. And, when you're prepared for a series or production, you worry for weather or you lose a location. You think of all these things. I had not thought of what happened when I was on this one. When we went to Ohio, we have to open an LLC. So we have an address from a guy that does our posts that we use. So I gave it to my guy in the office, and he put the address was 4382 Southwest Canton, 18th Street, Southwest Canton. He put 12th Street, Southwest Canton. So all of a sudden, all the mail was going to another person's address. Wasn't somebody we knew.
Mhm.
And that guy
Wow.
went to the Secretary of State to say that I was doing something illegal because I was using his address. So all of a sudden, I paid for the first 4. I'm about to get the funding for the other 4, and all of a sudden, my LLC is not in good standing, Shanta. I don't know why. I said I don't sell anything. Why isn't my thing in good standing? And they first said, "Oh, it could be a computer glitch." And then we're like, "No, no, no." And then my lawyer came back and said, "Chevonne, you got to do something. The address is wrong, and this guy has really caused a problem." So I went running down to Columbus to try to fill
Mhm.
out the form. It was just a clerical error, and this guy is it's not ours. This is our address, and we're sorry about it. And I went to him. I said, "How long is it going to take before I get an answer?" And they said it could be 2 to 3 days, or it could be 2 weeks. Shonda, I didn't have 2 weeks. I was going to have to close
Wow.
down in 4 episodes, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what am I going to do?" And I had to still be on set, so they couldn't know what was going on. So
Right.
first day on, I'm not sleeping. I'm panicking at night, praying as much as I can. Second day, the same thing. And then third day, it was a day off. So I still had an answer. And all of a sudden I saw as I was driving down to another town, a person that we had spoken to for location. And he was bragging about all the political people he knew.
Mhm.
So I called him. And I said, "Can you help me? I've had this problem." And he says, "I only know federal, Siobhan, but let me see if I can find out somebody in the state." Within an hour, he calls me back and he goes, "Siobhan, I got Frank LaRose from the Secretary of State office on the line. Maybe he can help you." I'm like, "Great, great."
Wow.
So I told him the whole situation. I'm talking to my lawyer afterwards, and he goes, "Who'd you speak to?" I said, "I spoke to this guy called Frank LaRose." He goes, "Frank LaRose, Sean?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "He is the Secretary of State of Ohio." So he fixed it the next day. Everything was good, and I got the funding. But literally, I sometimes feel like all these things happen, but it's meant to be. It's something that always fixes itself because this is a series that people want. I think it's inspirational enough. I think there's good moral values, and it's not just me. I think it's a whole feeling of somebody bigger than me. It's bigger than me.
Amazing. And you have definitely have testimonies of favor and things working out when you didn't know how it was going to work out. Was there ever a moment you wanted to quit, and what made you keep going?
No, I don't think there's ever been a time. No, I never ever said no. This is all I want to do. There's, I don't want to do it. I'll do
That's
the
how I
bad.
feel.
Yeah, I'll do the bad, the good. I like being the clever, trying to come up with something different.
Uh, this is
No, no.
very inspiring to me.
Thanks.
um, because it's an against all odds thing, and you don't actually have a product or something is visible. You have to turn something that's in your head
In your
into
hands
a
and do it.
visual that other people like. And it's a process, and especially with me, I don't have experience in making a lot of films. So it's like, okay, you never did this before. So why would anybody give me money and take a risk on if they never did it before? So I'm currently 80% done shooting a rags to riches
Ooh,
comedy. And I didn't know how I was gonna do it because I knew you need a budget and you have to have some money, you have to have places, locations, you have to have all these things that cost money.
yes.
God just said, just shoot the movie. Just go. And I promise you, he opened up every door, every location, down to the crafting, the food, how people just come and drive my actors to the locations. The actors are just so wonderful. They don't complain. They don't complain about the food. They don't complain about anything. They're just so happy. And I'm almost done with that movie and I still never had a budget.
I love it. I love it.
All
I
I
love it.
had was favor, and that got me almost to the completion of this movie, and I'll be finishing it in another 2 weeks, so your excitement and you are inspiring, and I feel like this is what I wanna do with the rest of my life. I wanna tell stories that matter. I wanna tell stories that are true, that have an impact. I wanna tell stories that could change people's lives because I've
I
been through
agree.
so much. I know so many people that have been through so much. And a lot of times it was music, it was movies, it was kind words, it was people that kind of brought me through. And I definitely want to return that.
Exactly. I agree.
How do
No,
you,
I agree.
go ahead. How do
No,
you
I agree.
balance creativity, leadership, and personal well being?
I think, well, I'm an early riser, so I love my exercise. I do my 5 miles a day, so it keeps me healthy and knowing what I'm doing. Even on set, even when we get our catering, I'm like, "No, no, no, no sugar for me." And if it was me controlling, you would have no only healthy, craft services, but they all had the junk on there, and I'm like, "Nah." But, I also, I make I make feel-good movies, you know,
Hmm.
I had people that came from ICE, were at one of Lifetime's stabbing, killing everybody, and, you take that energy on, and I think in a
You
mind that
do.
they're all feel good, I think you take the good energy and everybody comes back and feels good about it. So you're going to bed sleeping of nice thoughts.
Yes. What does success mean to you today compared to when you first started?
I think success is just sustainability, that I'm still here, doing what I love. Like I said, I never had a tiptoe out to think I'm going to go do this or do the other. I was 2 feet in, and this was I'm going to do it and figure it out. Success is, you know, I want my series to reach 1 billion people. That's what I think my success is. I want to reach 1 billion
What is the
people.
name of the series?
It's called the Sugar Creek Amish Mysteries.
And where can people watch it?
It's it will be on UpTV, on Up Faith and Family on April 16th, and then it will be on Up TV on April 23rd. It's a series of 35 books. It's got a little Amish, and I was just at NRB and I brought an Amish buggy into the convention hall.
Wow, wow.
So it's
And that will be a lot of it will be very interesting because it's not a community that basically lets you in to see what's going on.
no, no,
And nowadays people are
it's
nosy.
more of a feel good of how going backwards, of feeling like Little House on the Prairie, but today. Now, the Amish are not in my movie, but the Amish people approve of my scripts. So they read everything. So they're part of the community and they go out of their way to help as much as they can to us.
Oh, that's so kind. And
Yeah.
yeah. What kind of impact do you hope American cinema leaves on the next generation of storytellers?
I just want to, my impact is feel good movies. I want people to go away smiling. I can tell you many years ago when my daughter was about 9, 10 years old, and this is back in the 90s, when she came to me and she wanted to watch Child's Play. She was about 9 years old, and with Chucky, which is the doll. And I had said no, but of course, just like typical kids do, she went and watched it with a friend. And
Mm-hmm.
she got very, very scared. And I was making 1 movie a month, but I was, like, so busy, I didn't pay attention. I said, "Well, what damage could an hour and a half do to her?" And I was totally wrong. That 90 minutes really gave her so much anxiety that stayed with her for a long period of time. So I said at that time, if I have a voice and I have any power of what I do, I wanna do things that people have an alternative to watching that to something
Yes.
else.
Yes, and we need more alternatives because you have to Parents have to heavily screen what's going on the television. A
True.
lot of times you leave kids in the room to watch TV or you leave them to the devices and you don't really know. I didn't understand until I was an adult what cartoons were actually talking about. So as a kid, I'm watching cartoons, but as an adult, I'm like, wait, what did he just say?
Yeah, well, I put her in front of Disney Channel. I said, "The Disney Channel." I worked at Disney, how could it be bad? And the sectional innuendos in it, it was like, wow. So that's where I decided, no, and I'm not trying to preach to anybody, I just wanna give somebody an alternative. You can use
That's
this or you
right.
can that's it.
I love that. What is the favorite film that changed your life?
Oh, my favorite film of all time, and that's before I even got in the film industry, if we're talking my favorite, is Doctor Zhivago. I love Doctor Zhivago, the movie, and it was so funny because we were watching this movie in England when I was 9 years old, 10 years old, and it was a rainy day, which is a lot of days in London, and we went and
Hmm.
saw Nicholas and Alexander, which was about the Tsar of Russia, and then we went to Harrods for tea, and we got to wear little white gloves that day, and we got to go and then we went back to the movies, and we watched Doctor Zhivago, and then my father took me to a Russian restaurant, and we got to meet Russian people. I mean, this is back in the '70s, and I got to have vodka, and I was only 9 years old. Oh, so it made it more of a cultural thing than just watching a movie. It made it
Yes. Yes. What is a director you love to collaborate with?
Sandra Martin. Sandra
Okay.
Martin. Sandra Martin is, I mean, besides a wonderful director, she's a script writer. She helps. Her husband's a DP, and he gets that beautiful coloring on these romance that you have to have the pinks and the blues, and he just knows how to do that. And they're a fantastic team.
Okay. Coffee or late night editing sessions?
Coffee or late night? I go to sleep early. I am not a
Oh.
late night person at all. I'm a 5 o'clock in the morning or 4:30 in the morning person any time of the day, but
So
don't
is
keep me up.
is coffee editing sessions?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, yes.
One word that describes your filmmaking style.
Collaboration. Collaboration.
Set set
It's not mine,
life.
it's all of us. Huh?
I love that. Set life or film festival energy.
Oh. I'm a commercial. I do commercial. I don't do film festivals.
Okay. What message do you have for women watching who feel their dreams may be too big?
Everybody's wild dreams are always have to be big, but I think there's steps sometimes. You don't have to always go for the big one. There's all little things you can do along the way. And there's a lot of ways to shoot a film right now. There could be a vertical. It could be a small short film. It could be a long film. It could be just start. Just start. Don't keep stopping because I think a lot of us stop thinking, "Oh, I don't have this. I don't have this. I don't have this." Just whatever it is, if you start learning, you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn how to do things as you go.
Yes. If you could give one piece of advice to the next generation of filmmakers watching worldwide entertainment TV, what would it be?
Well, the one thing I used to do is I always went to the studio showings of what was being aired or what they're presenting, and people would say, "Why did you do that, Siobhan?" And I would say, "You can't buy anything there." And I'm like, "Nope. I go to see what not to make. If the studios are making it, I'm not making it. I find that thing that they're not making, and I make a niche of it, and those are the ones that I make."
Trendsetter. Okay,
Trendsetter.
finish this sentence. Your story matters because.
I so it matters because it makes people feel good, and I want people to try the industry. The industry is good. I teach at Chapman and all these things, but I'm finding 95% of the kids don't get in the business. And it is hard, but it is so challenging. It is fun, but just keep doing it and you're going to get there. But study where you're going.
Definitely have to study.
Yeah.
Um, it's been such a pleasure talking with
Me too.
you
Thank
and
you, Sean.
finding out so much information from an industry pioneer such as yourself. And, a woman always makes it better.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
I don't want my viewers to say, I'm a woman. Heck,
Right.
I don't know what men do and think. Maybe you guys come tell us.
They
But
have their clubs, let us have our clubs.
that's right. So if people wanted to follow you or possibly come to you for distribution, or
Yes.
how would they be able to do that?
I'm at my name, Chevonne, at AmericanCinemaInspires.com.
Okay.
And I'm also
Thank
I have a YouTube channel. I have 925,000 subscribers, and it's all inspirational type films. And I'm on Instagram and on TikTok.
Amazing. I definitely will be sharing this with my whole spiritual family and
Th
church family. A lot of times when we're fasting, we share inspirational movies to watch, when you're trying to get away from everything else that's
Exactly.
on TV. So yeah, we usually have a list, and we all get the list, and we watch the movies and come back and talk about them. So this would be something that is so awesome to introduce them to. And thank you so much
Thank you, Sandra. I
for
had a great
sitting down with me.
Okay. Thank you. I had a wonderful day.
Thank you, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of your work, and we'll definitely be talking again.
Okay. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you everyone for joining Worldwide Entertainment TV. Stay tuned for the latest, the greatest, and all the updates. Miss Goldie, to you.